this experience came was a series of intuitive impressions. So like lately, I was kind of going through a tough time, just certain little challenges that I was facing with the personal self, and kind of just overall, there was a lot of things, and I had a dream vision, kind of letting me know that things weren't going to be easy. Of course, that's just kind of the way it is here. But anyways, it was kind of taking a toll, kind of thing, and I was kind of looking at all of it, and trying to be indifferent in certain things. And anyways, this was probably maybe 3 days ago, and I had laid down to take a rest before I had started my work. When I had finally put the body down, and all of a sudden I was having this experience where I was standing with two boys. One of them was much taller than myself. The other one was sort of like to the shoulder of the other boy, and they were kind of looking at me, and they were telling me, well, as long as you have confidence, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, as long as you believe in yourself, you can do whatever you want. And it kind of made sense to me. I was like, oh, as long as I see myself, I can do whatever I want. But I used the belief idea in the dream vision. I said, oh, as long as I believe in myself, I can do whatever I want, and all this stuff. And I remember when I had gotten up from that experience, it kind of seemed like a weight was lifted. I felt much lighter. Um, but it was very interesting because I was looking at the experience because the idea of belief was in there. So I was looking at this idea of belief as to, because in a way it was kind of like me agreeing to that, right? Even though, it was still there, and so I was kind of addressing that in its own way. And all of a sudden I could see it was like this panoramic view opened up for myself, that the reason that I was having such these hard times, in my own way, of course, in my own personal way, that I was having these challenges, and that I had these problems like this, to where it was like, I couldn't always believe in myself type of thing. It was not to see if, like, in a way, yes, see if I could get through it, but it was really for to break my idea of belief, starting with myself. And I thought that was so interesting. I actually started to, instead of feeling kind of down about it or something like that, I actually started to laugh, because it made sense all of the sudden, that all of this sort of struggling and everything like that, it was happening so I could break that idea of belief in that dream vision that I had, where they were telling me to believe in myself. It's not about belief, it's about seeing, seeing myself as a free being of real light, and seeing that seeing that part that I is. And so it was very interesting that it all kind of looped around to break the idea of belief. But of course, that it was very interesting. It was like the guides were kind of showing me they couldn't do it anywhere else in my outer, or like in the not the outer, but like just through other things, through other things. They had to start kind of with myself. And so they put all this kind of challenges in front of me to eventually recognize that, because I didn't know that I had all these still kind of like belief type of ideas. So it was very interesting. That was a very interesting experience, I thought. So thank you.
Yeah, that's good. It's always good that as people share here, they bring things forward because, yeah, we've gone through these things, like we've gone through many things. And for the time, it was fine. But now you don't need it anymore because it's just an idea. And it's just like when Paul created Eckankar. That was the idea for the time, and now it's not needed anymore. So it's an isness. And so again, when you have the idea of belief, or any idea that you have, whatever it is, and compared to the sun shining, you don't see it. It doesn't exist. So it's okay to, the idea is to let go. But see, we've been prompted literally to identify with these words and the so-called meaning that they have according to the system. And this is how religion is set up. And in other words, you must be a believer, etc. Are you a believer? And yeah, it takes agreement with that, but you're just really agreeing to the idea of belief, which is something. It's like, do you believe in the guides? Do you trust them, etc.? See, there's another one, trust. And that was something used, and but I don't use any of those because it's an isness. It already is. And so all you have to do is just let go. And you don't need any ideas, etc. when it comes to your real awareness. Now, in the physical, you may use these things, you may say these things. At times I will use them too. Just like a vehicle, I use them, but I'm not attached to them. Realistically, no, they all mean nothing to me. It's a nothingness, just like the car that I drive. It's something, but then again, it's nothing. So, as long as I'm here and the physical body is like it is, yeah, I use the car, but other than that, in the real awareness, don't need it. So yeah, the belief thing has been drummed into people to be believers and to emotionally set that idea within people. And so that's what they relate to. They relate to ideas with emotional attachment to them. And yeah, getting past that. So those are baby steps you go through, but eventually you don't need any of it. Just like the air you breathe, there's nothing. Sun shining, you don't need any of it. No ideas. The reality of ourselves is in the doing, not in the ideas that we carry. And so as we carry ideas, we get caught up in those ideas, good, bad, or whatever. And I know I've been there too. My thing has been that I get discouraged because I can't do enough. And most people, they don't want to do anything. They're looking at ways to not do things. They just want the so-called spiritual experiences. They want this and that, the guidance and all these experiences, but they really don't want to do anything. Mine is not that. I'm not looking for the experiences. I want to do more because it's in the doing. It's not in the personal considerations. Any personal considerations are all worthless. The personal self is going to do what it does anyhow. The best part of the experience is in the doing, and what that entails is looking for people, creatively figuring out ways to attract people so that they decide to wake up. And just like the people that I'm dealing with the bonds and whatever, this lady was brought to me, and I saw her on the real side already weeks ago, and now we talked, and it's really clicks. She's super. She's psychic, and she'll be a good seer. She's in the United States, and she's helping this whole process go through. And so again, these are the people I look for because see, Rebazar and Paul bring them to me because I can handle it. And so it's not about confidence or anything. You just be and do. That's all. You just do something that makes sense, have the purpose. And so you don't need any of these ideas. I remember one time, many, many years ago, Paul came to me and he said to me, it was an experience. He came in the house when I was living in Huntington Beach there, and he came in and he said, I can't work with anybody that doesn't respect themselves. And so then he was in the room where my computer was, and he went and sat in the living room and just sat there, and I kind of looked around and saw him sitting there. And then there was more to the experience. It's not important. I kind of looked at that, and I thought, But, and it's not really about that either. It's funny, but they just prompt us in certain ways, etc., to do whatever. They use different means. And so any of these, they're really like devices, belief, trust, respect. What's another one that lady told me? Not charisma, but something else to where, if you say certain things or do certain things, your people are not going to respect you, or there's another word too, I forget what it is, but anyhow. And I told her, I said, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in whether they do or not. This is what I'm presenting. And this lady that I met, she's really cool, and she's been called a witch and whatever, even within her family members and whatever. And she's had to deal with that a long time. She really doesn't like it. She's a believer, a God believer right now, but she's going to get through that. But that's brought her along so far. But we all go through these ideas, and it's okay when you see them for what they are. But other than that, they're worthless because, again, the sun's shining, doesn't need them. But this is the lesson we go through, and because we have that literal part, look at that literal part. That's why I wrote this latest group, talking to your file cabinet. Because anytime that we're relating something to people, they're going to look at their file cabinet. They're going to look at their experiences and go, oh, I don't see anything there except maybe spiritual or religion as to what you're talking about, etc. That's the only reference they have in their file cabinet. So this is where the new words come in, and they can sound the same, but they are not the same. It's not the same reference. So it's learning the new language like anything. So this is what at least I'm putting it out there for people to decide if they want to see more than just their literal side, because the world is so literalized. People really can't see through that. They're stuck in that, and that's where their so-called confidence lies, is in this literalization that they've grown up with, invented by the systems to control them. And it's really that. And people think they're free thinkers. And Paul talked about this in his books too. All thought is censor thought. And it is, and especially today. And people who think they're free thinkers says, well, I can think anything I want. Yeah, you can think anything you want according to the system you're in. But anything outside of that is not thinking. So the reality is that anything you can consider is not real. And what you cannot consider is real. And so it's the opposite. So again, most people consider what they can consider is real. Oh, that's real. I can consider this. I can think. I can see this. It's real, but it's not. It's what you can't consider is real. And that's where you learn to see and be and recognize what's taking place. And so this is the cool part. We have the most fun. Yes, Jeremy, that's very, very good. So all those things to share, and you better understand that as as we're bringing out this new wave, this new understanding, this new real that we have the awareness to do, and letting people know that it's their real awareness, and that's a biggie, because again, everything is mindset. Everything is about the mind and the brain. Okay, this gooey thing that we carry inside the skull. It's your brain. You got a brain. And so we're the risk takers, and this is the fun part.